What's up, guys? Zach Twardowski here. I'm here with my buddy Calvin Wright. We're gonna make an effort to get on every week and talk about something, right? Whether it's business related, fitness related, relationship, whatever, spiritual related, everything we're working on, personal development related, and get on here and share. I think it'll be, if anyone wants to watch, great. If it helps you, I hope it does. But it'll also hold us accountable to keep up, with everything that's going on and stay current with things and share some of the stuff that we've done and some of the things that we've had, over the last year come up. And what we wanted to talk about today was sort of a fitness journey, training journey. And I'll let Calvin in a second kind of talk about the origin of this. But about a year ago, so Calvin went to Ranger School. I played some sports, high school, college, and then, started working as an entrepreneur in the insurance industry, working a lot. And one thing that we always had happen with the gym was I would go work out every single day, but it was very boring, right? I'd go to the gym, hit chest, hit biceps or legs, and then do the Stairmaster for 15 minutes. And it was literally like checking a box every single day. And I felt like I was super stagnant. So, and I know Calvin kind of felt the same way, but like a year ago, and I'll let him tell the story. A year ago, him and one of our other friends, Wiley, convinced us to sign up for a triathlon right when we moved to Austin. And it kind of sparked the journey of, did triathlon. We did a longer triathlon. Then we did a half Ironman. We did a 60-mile mountain bike race. We did a marathon. We're doing a couple other things coming up. And I think it's a really, it's made fitness for me a lot more interesting again. So, Calvin, I'll let you kind of tell the story, but I think for me, it's been cool the last year to have something to actually train for again, like playing a sport or like for you, like being in the military. And what I've found is I always hated running. And now that we're in business, I'm on the phone all the time, right? And it's either I'm on the phone with agents or, dealing with stuff, putting out fires, or doing productive things, right? But I literally am on the phone nonstop. And if I'm not on the phone, it's like I'm hanging out with my wife and my daughter. And it's always just very staticky. I don't know how to describe it, like acidic almost. Like there's always something happening. I'm always on my phone. Like the thing says 12 hours a day and it's mostly productive stuff. When I get to go on a run or a long bike ride or something like that in the morning, I get to unplug, and it's been really good for my mental health. And one of my friends asked, they were like, "Oh, why'd you start running and stuff like that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's cheaper than a therapist, right?" And that's not really good advice, but it is something that allows me to unplug and be able to think through life. So anyways, tell everyone kind of how we got into what we did, and then we can go back and forth and talk about some of the stuff we do training wise.
Sweet, man. Yeah, so I think this will be really fun. This will be a really fun series of what we do. It's not going to be all just finance related or insurance related. It's going to be cool, just lifestyle stuff, which is always fun and entertaining. But for you guys don't know, Zach didn't just play high school sports or whatever. He played at a D1 college at a really high competitive level for athletics. So don't let that slip on through. So obviously I left the military, went to college. We were friends before that. And then we ended up in Austin, Texas together. And I've always wanted to do a triathlon, and somehow it all came up together between Wiley, Zach, and myself. Hey, let's do one. And there was 3 to pick from. And we were all like, well, do we just pick the smallest? And we're like, I can't pick the smallest. So we did something in the middle. And it was more of a friendly competition. And I personally overshot it. I was in the Army. This is going to be a cakewalk. This is going to be a joke. I got this. I have no problem with it. And I personally did not take the training serious in the beginning. And it was a bit of a wake up call for me. And so we get to the triathlon. We're all kind of talking crap back and forth to each other, and on who's gonna win and who's gonna win each section, the swim, the bike, and the run. I was like, I'm gonna take the swim, and then Zach's gonna crush the bike, and then who knows what happens with Wiley because he was a track athlete or whatever. And we both the swim. Boom! I finished the swim first. And then I'm on the bike. I see Zach ride right past me on the bike. I didn't see him the rest of the race. And then I didn't see Wiley until the run, and I was like, the run hit me, and I don't know about you, but I was smoked at that point. Mm-hmm. And then Wiley just comes trotting past me, and I'm gassed. I'm looking like a rookie. I'm feeling bad for myself. And we finish it, and I was like, we obviously you won, and then it was Wiley, and it was me. I came in last place, and I took 2 years off of physical activity again in the military. I boycotted it. and it ignited something inside me that made me super excited to like wake up every day and do something. I don't know about you, but like the running thing was like the most I dreaded in the beginning, and now it's something that I love doing personally.
Yeah. Dude, I told everyone for years, because I'm like a little bit bigger. When we started all this stuff, I was probably like 6'2", like 220-ish. Like semi-muscular, but like kind of fat muscular too, you know? But like I told everyone, I'm not built like a runner. Even when you guys were trying to talk me into it, I'm like, no, I'm not a runner. I'm not built like a runner. Like I'll never run.
Yeah.
And then I started really enjoying it because it was like a new challenge, right? And
It was hard.
Dude, what I learned throughout a lot of this process, and we've done a couple other things, but like what I learned from that race, because leading into that race, the longest I ran was like a mile going into it. And I'm super competitive. I was like, dude, I'm either going to like beat these two or I'm going to die on the course trying, but I'm not going to lose. But what I learned the process for running, and then I can share some things that worked, didn't work, that helped me. And, you know, I think it's one of those things you got to be prepared. You're going to get hurt. Like your legs are going to be jacked up. It's not going to feel good sometimes. Sometimes you feel great. Sometimes you make progress. Sometimes you go backwards. But like, it was all in my head where I was like, I can't be a runner. And what I realized when I started doing is like, mentally it feels really good. But like, if you have an hour and you're trying to burn calories, like that is the best way to burn calories. It doesn't really matter how fast or slow you run, but you burn a ton of calories by running.
Yeah.
And I think one thing I always heard that was a myth, I think, because I've relatively kept like a lot of the strength that I had lifting less days, but now running, like everyone always said, if you run, like you're not going to be able to build any muscle or anything like that.
Big myth.
Big myth. I always thought that was true though, is like if you ran all the time, it would like steal, you know, from your gains in the gym. And I just wanted to be like well-rounded and feel good about myself, you know, and be confident. And one thing I see stuff online all the time. And I see people talking about like, oh, like if you don't look X way, like you can't work for my company. And
we all know who we're talking about.
Yeah. And I actually like those guys a lot, but I've like the way I look at it is like, I think if you're not trying to improve yourself, you know, then you're going backwards. But I think people should always be improving themselves. It doesn't necessarily matter where they are currently, right? Because you could have been Mr. Olympia and you backslid a little bit and you look still pretty good, but not compared to where you were. Or you could be 400 pounds and heading the right direction. So I think it's just cool to see people, you know, giving a really good effort to get better. And that's what I noticed, dude, is there'd always be people out there who were like, you know, really big people on the triathlons and even on the marathon we did.
There were some big people out there.
Yeah. And it was like, it's funny because some people would kind of make fun of them. I'm like, dude, this is awesome that they're out here though, because they're trying to get better.
And they were crushing it.
And they're crushing it. Like, dude, they're trying to get better. Like, I think we should be applauding people for trying to get better. But it was one of those things where it was like, I told myself I couldn't be a runner. Right. And that was like a year ago, right?
This May will be a year from that race.
Okay. So this May, and then in February of this year, like I couldn't run. I ran 3 miles for the first time in May of last year. Cause we did, the part of the triathlon was a 3-mile run. And then in February of this year, like I was hurt for a little bit, but then I felt better. And there was the marathon in Austin. I did a marathon.
Yeah,
and I was like, holy crap. I couldn't even run a mile a year ago. And you can make such big progress in such a short amount of time if you're intentional with it. And the thing I really like about endurance sports is it's like a direct parallel to entrepreneurship. It's like if you do the small things like over and over and over again really well, and you understand that it's going to take time and you may not be as good as someone else right now, but if you just do what you can do and not necessarily expect to be there, but just do, like if you can only run a mile, like we'll run a mile, you know, and then next time, like, can you run a little bit farther? And next time, can you do a little bit better? And then eventually those things stack up. And like, if I, a year ago was like, I'm going to run a marathon in February, I'd be like, get the heck out of here. There's no shot.
Sounds scary.
Sounds scary. But like, if you just get a little bit better every single day, you can make really big strides. Right.
Yeah. And like so we have that it's coming up in May as the anniversary for that. And we're trying to put something together to bring some more people in there and maybe have some new challenges for some new individuals. But it kind of there was no plan to do any other races after that. That was like the highlight of the year. And it stemmed off into a bunch of other races that probably would have never been on the radar if it wasn't for that first like joke race. And I call it a joke race because it was like a really small race relative to what we've done after that. And it was one of those things where we put together some like not thought out training plan to do that, just to finish. The goal was just to finish the race and not like die, which sounds super lame, but it was the original goal. And like post that race, we all got together. Well, Zach and I got together and tried to drag Wiley into it because it originally was Wiley's idea to do like a real triathlon or a real high half Ironman, and no call outs, but basically Zach and I got together. We found one on the map in Waco, and we were like, hey, we're gonna like do the real thing. We're gonna do a half Ironman race, which was, I think it was a 54-mile bike. It was a 1.2 mile swim and a half marathon in obviously different order. But the training for that actually got really serious and really structured. And I think we saw a lot of actual a lot of growth there, especially in the first like couple months leading up from that. Cause that was in May and we did that in October, I want to say. And we dragged my dad into it and he got whooped up on a little bit, but your training program was like super thought out because you had a trainer and you literally had a schedule every single day. Like it was, and mine was more like just kind of put together based on knowledge, just random knowledge and talking to you a little bit. Yeah. But how do you think that training program that Jim put together helped affect the results that actually went into play?
Yeah, I think a few things. So like one thing I've always learned, one thing I've always like kind of lived by is if I don't know how to do something, I don't want to try to figure it out myself. Like I don't really enjoy just figure it out from scratch. I'd like to like have someone just tell me what to do and skip the mental energy part of it. So when I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing this, like I have no idea what to do. You know, the farthest I've ran is a couple miles. I haven't swam ever, like really, you know, besides like just kind of like randomly swimming around like in a pool, but like never competitively. Like I can swim, but it's like one step above doggy paddling, you know.
You did really well in the swim though. Yeah,
but I never swam before that, right? And then biking, I was like, well, I don't know, like I've had pretty strong legs from growing up, like mountain biking and stuff, but I've never, you know, road biked at all. So I was like, I wanted to hire someone. And the thing I noticed was like having someone just have pre-planned workouts for you, like two things. One is that I always did them because it's so funny. Like if you have a trainer and they're meeting at the gym every day and you're paying for them, even if it's just a little bit, I think it's like a direct parallel to business. But even if you're just paying them just a little bit, you're gonna show up and do what you're paying for because you're paying for something and someone's holding you accountable to that. Yeah. So there was an app where it showed like the workouts and it'd be attached to my watch. When I finished the workout on my watch, like it would go to his computer, he would see it. So like if I didn't do it, this guy that I've never met before and don't really care what he thinks, but he would know, and then I would know that. So I never skipped any workouts, right?
Yeah.
And my schedule was really crazy. Like I'd be flying somewhere, driving somewhere, and one day he was like, "It's crazy. Like you never tell me anything about your schedule, but I see you like in like you'd be in Texas, like Colorado, like East Coast, Florida, wherever, like all over the place, but you still just get all your workouts done no matter what, you know?"
Yeah.
And so I think it really helped me to having someone that planned everything out for me, and I just had to figure out where to get them done at. And then it helped having someone that was like holding me accountable. But I truly believe that no matter what you're doing in life, like just find someone who's good at it and they'll tell you what to do. Because with endurance sports, the thing that I didn't think about that is actually like one of the most important things is the nutrition and everything like that around it. So like
definitely,
like when you're running, your body only holds so much glycogen, and at some point you run out. And if you don't have anything else, then your muscles just won't work, or they won't work as well. So like having plans as far as like what to take before you run and what to take after for recovery, and you know what to take during your run, if you need to take a gel, all these things. Like I would have had no idea how to figure any of that stuff out on my own. And the only way I figured it out was really the same way that I learned how to do sales, which was like asking people who knew what they were doing and then YouTube videos, you know. And I think it's a cool time where you can learn a lot from the internet, but I think it's really good to have someone who's an expert in a field that you can lean on, you know, for mentorship.
Yeah, the nutrition piece, I think people miss that a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think we missed that on the beginning too, because it was one of those things where we were like, oh man, it's just do it when you're hungry or do it when you feel it. And it's more of a preventative measure rather than at the time of feeling of neglect or where your body's starting to shut down. And there's a formula to all of this, just like there is in business, just like there is in any type of industry. I imagine there's some type of formula that's going to create a path to get to that success point or to cross that finish line. Yeah. And Jim, I think, did a really good job of painting that picture because he took all that thought out for you and provided live feedback and also did a lot of injury prevention stuff. Yeah. Because you can overdo it and you can overwork yourself and it's going to end up doing a lot more damage than just trying to finish a race. Yeah. And so after, like post Ironman, I was like I don't know about you, but I was like pretty jacked up, but mentally I was like trying to find. I didn't know what the next race was going to be, but I was super excited because the adrenaline was so large. It's just like when you make a massive sale in the insurance industry, you just like you're just high on life, right? And that mountain bike, the post half Ironman, we're like, all right, a couple weeks later is the 60-mile mountain bike race, which I think we just wrote off as like, hey, it's going to be not that bad. We just did a half Ironman. And I don't know about you. I mean, we've talked about it before, but nobody else really knows. We don't talk about it that much outside of just each other. And dude, that race was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
It was a lot of twists and turns. It was a lot of, I crashed multiple times and jacked myself up, especially in like the first mile. I got ran over by a stampede of mountain bikers. And my dad's like a really good athlete. And I always lean on to him for a lot of knowledge. And he kind of rides stuff off like, hey, you'll be all right. Just kind of do it. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whatever. I'll just do what he says. And we're in this race, and it's a 20-mile loop, 3 of them. And after the second loop, we're probably at 40 miles. I know we both get off of our bike at that point, and we're like, does anybody have any ibuprofen? Yeah. Because everything hurts right now.
Yeah.
And we sat there for probably a couple of minutes just trying to recoup, get the mind right. And we're like, all right, let's go finish this. Let's go finish this dang race, right? And completing that race together, like just riding through the finish line together was awesome, super fun. Shout out to Marty for being there for us. And we haven't done the only other thing after that was I did the half, you did the full marathon. Mm-hmm. And I know we've been looking for some more stuff on the map, but from all of those experiences, I mean, you're a lot further ahead in business than I have been, like by a mile. And I know you relate a lot of those physical activities to business, but because I recognize how disciplined you are, and I didn't realize it until we started doing a lot of these things together. What would you say, like from a schedule? I know you're super, super scheduled, but from a scheduled standpoint, I see your Strava activity, and some days you're doing a run at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning, and then I see you at the office at 8, and you're like, I'm done 10 miles, and I've been on the phone for like an hour with integrity or whatever it is. Like, where do you find all of that motivation consistently?
It was funny. I don't know, like working out every day. So people talk about rest days, and I'm not going to like debate scientifically with anyone, but like, I don't like the idea of rest days because I like to do the same thing every single day. And not like the same amount, but I like to do something every single day. And same thing with like work. People are like, oh, like, do you take certain days completely off from work? And I'm like, no, like I do a little bit of stuff every single day because I like to stay sharp. And physical wise, like you can do things that are light activity, but I just like to do something every single day because it stays in, it just keeps me present, I think. And it helps me build really good habits. And same thing where it's like, I don't drink anymore. And like, I just don't, and I'm not like, I'm never going to drink again. I'm just like, I'm not going to drink today, And so just building like small habits every single day. I think the biggest thing is like, it's just for me, just part of my identity and part of what I think makes me like feel good is like, I like to work out every single day. I want to be really healthy. A big part of it now, like I think when I was younger, like maybe like 17, 18, 19, 20, like it was like, oh, I want to look good. And like, and I don't really care about like my health, but now that I'm, 28 and I have wife and daughter, like I want to be in really good health too. And I want to live a long time, which is a big shift. Cause like there was periods in my life where I did not care about that. I couldn't think past like tomorrow or tonight. Right. Yeah. So I think part of it is like, I want to be in really good health. And then discipline wise, like if I just have a schedule, if I draw out a schedule, I know I'll stick to it. And there's just certain things I'm gonna do every single day where it's like, I'm gonna read something every single day. And by read, I mean, I'm gonna listen to an audiobook every single day. And I do a lot of that. Like when I'm running, I either listening to an audiobook or listening to nothing and just clearing my head. I'm going to do exercise every single day. I'm going to do something work related every single day, just check on at least something and just, be updated on everything. Cause I don't want to get far behind. And then I'm gonna do something family wise every single day. But I think the discipline thing is like, I don't think people are naturally disciplined. Like I think I'm actually pretty unorganized and not disciplined naturally. So I have to build in, like a bowling alley when they put it up the little bumpers to keep the ball in. Like, I feel like my schedule is like those little bumpers that like keep me like in there so that I don't go into the gutter.
I could see that actually.
Yeah. So I need that stuff. And it's just certain things that I have like daily non-negotiable things I'm going to do every single day. And for me, it's like when I commit to something, I'm going to do it. And I just know that about myself. So if I write it down, put it in my schedule, I'm like, I'm going to do this. So where it's like, I have my workout plan for tomorrow. Like I know I'm going to do this at this time. And I know people talk about like morning routines a lot. And I think it's funny where they're like, oh, I have to do like this and that. And like, ice bath and then, you know, my sauna and my meditation. And like for me, like I just want to do something challenging in the morning and then I want to get to work and be productive. So typically what I do is like, I'll set my alarm for 6. I wake up at 5 almost every single day, but like there was a period in my life where I woke up at 4 every single day. Now I set my alarm for 6 unless I have to be up earlier and then I'll wake up at 5 or 4, whatever. But I set it at 6 and my body normally wakes me up at like 5 o'clock on the dot every single day. But I want to have sleep is so important. I think that for a long time I neglected it. I was sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a night. I want my body, if I feel sick or like tired, to be able to sleep a little bit longer so that I don't get sick or compound the issue. Yeah. But like almost every single day, even on Saturday, Sunday, like I wake up at 5 o'clock on the dot. But I build that in just in case I need to sleep a little bit longer. But the first thing I do is like, I'll do, you know, I usually will spend the first 15 to 20 minutes, like just, right. And again, this is what I do. Like I check a couple emails right away and I go through certain things that came in, like from when I stopped work until the next day. Cause I want to handle things before my day gets hectic. It's usually about the first 15 minutes. And then from there, I like jump right into my workout. We'll go do something usually for between an hour, hour and a half. And then if I'm at home, I'll do the sauna, jump in the cold plunge. Yep. I don't need to do it. I just like it. It feels good and it's something challenging to do. And the cold plunge like wakes me up. So I don't like really the reason I like to do that is so I don't have to drink as much caffeine as I used to do. Drinking a shitload of caffeine before. Yeah. So for that, like, but if I'm traveling, I don't need to do it, you know? And I think that's where people's morning routines can hurt them is like, if you have to do it, then you're kind of like, what if you're traveling or what if there's no, what if there's no cold plunge and you're in a hotel somewhere? It's like, if you can't function without that, then if it's ever not there, you're screwed. Right. Yeah. So, you know, I think, for me, it's just I set daily things I'm gonna do every single day, no matter what. And it's just one of those things where if I write it down, I put it in my calendar, I'm gonna get it done.
I did a recording with Jimmy and Andrew not too long ago, and they were asking some questions about like morning routine and discipline and physical activity. And it reminded me of what you said about going on a run or doing a bike ride, and I either listen to an audiobook or listen to nothing. And I don't really listen to too many audiobooks because my attention span is not deep enough for that. I need to probably do some more training there. But I don't listen to anything when I run or bike. When I drive, I used to listen to music. I mean, you've known me forever. I used to listen to music all the time. I don't listen to any music really ever unless I'm with Kylie because she'll probably hit me if I don't listen to something in the car with her. Yeah. But like I don't listen to anything, and I find that's the most peaceful time of my day or my life, and I get a lot of like productive thoughts out or through my brain because when I get to work or when I come to the office when we're dialing or doing meetings or there's just constant voices for 12 hours a day. And the only time that I'm like without any voice or something is maybe during that run or during that bike ride or that short drive. And so I think it's a really valuable piece probably for some people. If you're having a hard time or you're frustrated with life or work, you should probably get out there and do that run or that drive and just probably listen to nothing and just sit with your thoughts because you're gonna get a lot of frustration and anger or just like stuff out. And it's been a big deal for me, man. I don't know about you, but that's one of those things that I think that people miss on a lot.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's important to have like time where you reflect on stuff, and then like I do that. A lot of time I spend time thinking about like, oh, like what went well this last week? What could I do better? You know, where do I need to improve? And just self-reflect. Do you think that doing all this stuff has helped discipline wise with business with you as far as like doing all like the, you know, running, biking, all that sort of stuff? Like how has it helped you be more productive in business, do you think?
For me personally, it's helped on my business aspect of my life because I think it's just kind of re-amplified it. I was pretty disciplined, especially in the field. Like I had a set schedule Monday through Saturday. I would leave the house at 7. I'd get home at 10. It was non-negotiable. It's happened no matter what. With virtual, it's a little bit different because there is some gaps there in the schedule, and there's a little bit more like leisure time, I would say, just from a perspective of being as scheduled. For me, the biggest change I think I saw was I was actually getting scared that my health was getting so bad that I was going to die early. And I was so worried. I was having like vivid dreams, and I was like kind of getting scared that like my life was going to end early because my heart rate wasn't getting up anymore. Like I was kind of like getting out of shape, and I just wasn't feeling super strong personally. And by doing these activities with you guys, it was more than just a competition. It was more of just an enlightening moment for me from like a health perspective, but also like a personal value perspective, where I value my time, my body, and my physical fitness a lot greater than, because in the Army, you do it no matter what. Yeah. It's mindless. Your discipline is structured to where it has to be no matter what anyways, so it's not like a whole lot of thought into it. When you get into the civilian life, you have a lot more choices. You can you can not do certain things and not get in trouble. It can kind of just skate away. So from a business standpoint for my schedule, it's definitely helped make sure that I'm up in the morning doing stuff at 6:30. I set an alarm for 6 myself, and like I typically am up right around there, and then I sit there for 30 minutes and kind of just scroll or just hang out and just relax, and then I start doing stuff. And more recently, I've been hurt, so I haven't been as structured with my running schedule. I prefer to at least run or do some type of cardio like 3 to 4 times a week minimum. So being hurt has been a huge setback for me, because I do really love the running and biking piece of it. And now it was an easy cop out, because I legitimately had cellulitis in my toe, and it was disgusting. And I was walking around. I was crocking it for a couple of weeks in the office, but man, I'm so pumped to get back out there and start running again. And I'm excited to know what our next race is. I know we were dabbling with, what do you think our next race is going to be, man?
I don't know. I thought we were talking about doing one at the beginning of April, right? Like a trail run.
Yeah.
15-mile trail run. And then I think at some point this year, I'd like to do another marathon probably. Maybe something longer than a marathon at some point.
I would like to put on an ultra. I would definitely like to do an ultra with you at some point this year. I don't know when or what day, but we should probably plan something out for that, because I know it's going to be a lot more. I know for sure that training schedule is going to be a lot more intense, and it's going to be real structured, and because you're going to have to get a certain amount of miles in to make sure your bones and your body and your muscles are developed enough to actually complete the race.
Yeah.
I know David Goggins probably like, just show up and do it, but
just duct tape your shins and go.
Yeah. Like I want to walk out of that race and be able to get in the car and drive home.
Yeah.
But I know for sure I'm doing that 100-mile mountain bike race in Leadville. I know for sure that we're going to do that race April 6th. It's a heavy half, 15.5 miles, and it's a ton of elevation gain up and down. But we were talking about the Lady Bird Lake 10-mile loop. That's 55 times, so 50 miles. Yeah. That's on pavement, so I think it'd be a little bit more difficult. But after all the runs that we've done in different like trail versus road races that we've done, what do you like better? Do you like doing the road or the road or the trail better?
I kind of like the road better, but while I'm doing it, but afterwards it hurts a lot worse. Then like after trail is better. But I mean, we did a trail half marathon one day, and then it was like 100 degrees out, and they jacked up the signs, so we did extra 2.5, 3 miles on that one.
Yeah, that was rough.
It was tough though, because you're jumping over sticks and stuff, like while you're trying not to die, and you're trying to drink water, and it's 100 degrees out, and then you're also avoiding rolling your ankle. So I like the trail ones, but the road ones is like you don't have to think about that stuff, so it makes it a little bit easier, I think, in that regard.
I like the trail runs more because they're more chill. You get like a lot of laid back people. They're all like out there drinking IPAs and just hanging out or whatever. And they're not so worried about the pace. They're just like, hey, we're out. You just have fun. And typically they're usually really good. They're just like cranking miles out, 10, 11, 12-minute miles just for forever. And then we get to the Austin Marathon. There's like 27,000, 30,000 people there. Everyone's wearing crazy, like they're all decked out in gear.
They're
Nick
ready.
Bear's there. Like the whole BPN team's there. And we show up and we're like, this is the real deal. I thought this was like just some low-key Austin race. It was, they got fireworks, the national anthem's going off. People are sprinting and up this giant hill. But the race overall was, I thought, easier because there were so many people around you, and everyone was just like either running with you at your pace, a little bit faster, a little bit motivation, the music, the bands, the nutrition. It was like it was mentally easier. But the trail run was like physically tougher, but it was more enjoyable, I think, personally for me.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's easier to run when you have a big group of people around you. I like both. I mean, I like running more than I thought I would. And it's weird. I kind of like the pain after it now too, because you're like, oh, I got something hard done, and then it goes away pretty quickly. So I think we definitely will do some more this year. I want to wrap with this if you're cool with it. I have a few like random notes I take on my phone, just thoughts, like random. They're random, but I want to go over them, and you can make any comments you want on those. But
okay.
So one thing that I wrote, and I just take like random notes for books I'm reading or podcasts I hear throughout the week. And dude, the one thing that I hear from every single person who's a successful entrepreneur is like the quickest way to make more money is to get around people that make more money than you, right?
That's definitely true.
It's such a simple thing that I think a lot of people neglect that. Like they do everything else right. Like they work hard, they do all the right things, but they just don't get around other people. And like one, you learn how to do the right things. You tap into their network, people that you're around, that if they like you, they'll give you more opportunities. But I mean, I think that's like a big key that people miss out on. It's like the most simple entrepreneurial thing. It's just like, if you want to get to where someone's at, like you want to hang around, if you want to make more money, hang around people that make the amount of money you want to make, right? Because they'll introduce you to the right people. They have better networks. They can tell you what to do to get there, right?
Yeah. And I never really understood that coming from the military background. The concept was there. It was more like, hey, hang around the people that are like already have badges and like accomplishments, but it applies way more in the civilian sector. And I think you've been a really good example of that. And dude, like seeing you go to getting ready to go to medical school and then like leave that, I was really confused. Mm-hmm. And I asked Blaine about it because I've been good friends with you and Blaine for a while. I was like, I'm like, what, like, why? And then he never really explained it. And then like hanging around Austin and now we have the office here. I see it even more because you get all these dudes in the office and females and just the group together and everyone's making more sales. And they're also obviously they're bringing up their income, but like that culture that you build to create like in this business, I didn't believe in it in the beginning. Yeah. Like I'm not a big culture guy. I never really was. And then you like kind of brought it here and dude, the 5 people is huge.
Yeah, for sure. And the culture is like, the culture is just like, we don't complain. We keep moving forward. Right.
Yeah.
The other one I had is like, I think, people do a lot of stuff that costs them money. Like you can delegate so much stuff for less money than you make an hour. So I think it's really important people like figure out what your hourly rate is. And if it costs less than your hourly rate, then delegate it. Yeah. If it costs more, then you handle it, right? Either delegate it or don't do it. So it's like, if something costs you if it costs $20 to do or whatever, or you could pay someone $20 to do it for you, pay them to do it or don't do it at all. And I think you should assign an hourly rate that you want it to be. Like maybe you sign your hourly rate at $1,000 or $2,000 an hour or $5,000 an hour, which would make you 7-8 figures, but assign yourself a high hourly rate. And then if it's below that, delegate to someone else and don't do busy work that doesn't make money. Yeah.
You're like the best at that, I think, at this point.
I don't do anything that is simple that I can pay someone else to do.
Yeah, because I always hit you up and I'm like, hey, like I got these 3 bids. Like, which one do you want? And you're just like, I like this dude the best. You didn't even like look at the price or nothing. And I'm just like, you want me to like go back and ask them? And you're like, no, just hire him and get it done. And I'm just like, okay. Like I'm still learning. I'm still getting better at that. Like I do it at the household with the lawn and whatnot. But you've been like the master delegator.
Yeah, it's like, we're talking about getting a mural done in this. It'll be done probably within the next week or so. And the guy we picked, like he literally brought in a picture. He wrote up the bid right away, and he had like, I don't know, he gave a present and he was able to do it quickly and gave us a good sketch and had some well thought out details. I'm like, dude, what do I care? It's an extra $1,000 for this guy. Like it'll probably be better, right? Yeah. So I think it's important to not fight price. Sometimes just get stuff done and keep moving. Especially it's like $1,000. Like if I look back on that in like 2 weeks, or even a week, or even like a day later, you're probably not going to care.
No.
The other one I had on here, I had 2 other ones, so I'll rip through them quick. One was just a thought, and this is probably gonna piss some people off, but I was like, I think business school. So Deb asked me the other day when we were driving around, she was like, do you think that business school helps people to be good at what you do? And I might have been in a pissy mood that day, but I was like, business school is literally just for people to teach people to do jobs that entrepreneurs hire. And I was like, if I want an accountant, I hope he went to business school. Or if I want someone, who'll be a good operations manager and good at Excel spreadsheets, like I want someone who went to business school. But I don't think business school prepares people for entrepreneurship. I think business school prepares people to work for entrepreneurs. And you don't have to comment on that one because it's kind of a dick thing to say, but I just like everyone I've met that like went to like really, not everyone, most people I've met that went to like business schools, like they just want a secure job, be told what to do, like be an accountant, check boxes. And so I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, like you have to understand that the things you learn in business school, you're learning from teachers who've never done anything. They're just teaching you how to work for big businesses and entrepreneurs. So,
yeah. I mean, the only thing I would say to that is like, from a military perspective, I've always been a big pushback on school because I hated it.
Yeah.
And what I realized, like in the civilian side, is like you don't really need a degree to be successful. It probably just makes you better, like with vocabulary, which I'm not the best at. So I mean, like I have no comment on business school. I've never been.
Yeah. It's fine. I just have perspective from people who went to business school and didn't. And then I see the people who went to business school had good jobs, and the people who went out and did their own thing. have built like some significant wealth, right? It's all takes a lot of risk, and you have to be the right type of person for it. But last thing I had on here was real estate buyers commissions that are going to have to be negotiated starting in June, I believe it is. I love this. This is also going to piss people off, but dude, I think that realtors, and I have some great friends that are realtors, and I have some people I have a lot of respect for. So I think the majority of realtors don't really do anything. Like they write up a contract that Chat GPT could write up. Mm-hmm. Like when I bought my house here, dude was super nice. I really liked him, and I hope he doesn't watch this. He probably won't. But it's like I picked out all the houses I wanted to go see. I told him which one I wanted to do a bid on. I told him how much I wanted to pay for it. It's like you got paid $70,000 for like unlocking a lockbox and letting me into a house, right? So, anyways, if you're a realtor and I offended you, you can come work with Calvin. But I think I think that I'm glad that it's happening. I think those things should be negotiated. Actually, that's not true. I'm not glad that's happening because I love commission-based sales. I think it's okay that it should be negotiated. The one thing that I thought was really weird was the real estate association, RMA or whatever it is, the people that look out for all the realtors, like, dude, they just threw them under the bus. They didn't try to fight it or anything. They're like, sure, we'll make it to where it's negotiable. So I thought that was super weird. And, I don't think that'll ever happen in the insurance industry because it's so different. But I don't know I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that. But you know me, dude, outside of a few people I really love, like I have the lady who helps us with all our stuff in Colorado is amazing, very knowledgeable. Like I would negotiate her to get 6% because she's well worth it and she actually provides value. The ones that just unlock stuff for you, I'm like, dude, what am I paying? I'll give you 1%. Like this makes no sense. So
yeah, I follow real estate pages just because I like to keep up. And there's a lady in Bastrop that has an Instagram and a podcast that talks a lot about it, so I get a lot of knowledge from her. But I think it's a good thing because a lot of the buyers agents are the buyers themselves are doing a lot of the research like you did on Zillow and all these other platforms. And they're just contacting someone that they don't even know or care about and saying, hey, I would love to bid on this house. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully they're good enough to talk to the other realtor to negotiate good terms for them. Yeah. But a lot of them don't buy a lot of houses. So unless you're like getting the good repetitions in, you just take someone's word for it. You don't know what happens. So I think that there's going to be a lot of open houses now. Because they're going to be talking to the seller's agent are going to be doing double the amount of work, which is good because it's going to make them proactively help sell more homes. But I do think they should earn their commission. I think in any commission-based sales that it shouldn't just be given out, and you should definitely earn it because that's what you're getting paid to do. So I think it's definitely important that they did that. I don't know if it's the right thing to do because I've never been a real estate agent. I don't really know much about it. I don't understand why the test takes so long for them to get licensed for what they do. But there'll definitely be a lot more open houses, and I think it's going to move a lot more inventory because there's going to be a lot more hungry people out there, and the people that are already on Zillow that are looking for their homes are going to see, like, they don't see the point in hiring someone. They should just contact the seller. When I bought my home, I contacted the seller's agent, and he's like, dude, I can't represent both of y'all, so you got to go find a realtor. And I just picked a client that I had, and I know she's not going to watch this, but it was probably the worst experience ever because she literally had no idea what was going on, and the other dude had to do all the work anyways, and I just ended up texting him through the whole process. So it just makes it a lot more smooth, I think, unless you have a really, really good person to represent you.
Yeah, getting your insurance license way easier than getting your real estate license. So if you are affected by that, come work with us. Teach you how to make money doing insurance. So appreciate you, dude. We'll be back next week. If anyone watched this, thank y'all. Later.
Peace.